This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
It's Oh Behave with Arden Moore, the show that teaches you how to have harmony in the household with your pets. Join Arden as she travels coast to coast to help millions better understand why cats and dogs do what they do. Get the latest scoop on famous faces, their perfectly pampered pets, and who's walking who in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails, garner great pet tips, and have a doggone fur-flying fun time. So get ready for the pause and applause as we unleash your Oh Behave host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome to the Oh Behave show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. Now, raise a paw if you enjoy a good time. Well, guess what? So does your cat. It's not all about napping and grooming for our fine felines. They need play with a purpose. And here to share why play can be a major key to your cat's happiness is one of the world's top cat experts. Please welcome to our show, certified cat behavior consultant, Dr. Mikel Delgado. Hey, it's about time Arden. You got on my show, Dr. Delgado.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's been too long, but here we are.
And cats, as they say in the world of cats, you have unleashed a new book. It is called Play with Your Cat, the essential guide to interactive play for a happier, healthier feline. Play. I think that's one of the cat's favorite four-letter words. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. Yes. It was really a call to action. The title of the book really just says everything you need to know. You need to do it.
Well, you get right to the point. That's what I like. And kind of tuning in for the folks on YouTube is my cat, Casey. He's kind of monitoring this interview, too, because it's important to him to play. Cats need to play. Kittens, prime timers, seniors, definitely pioneering a better world for cats. And hey, you guys, we're going to find out just how after we take this break. So you all know the drill. Sit, purr. We'll be right back.
Time for a pause. 4 furry ones, actually. Sit and stay. Oh Behave will be right back.
Pause up, pet pals. Arden Moore here, your host of the Oh Behave show. Me? Wow. Did you know there's up to 100 million free roaming cats in the United States? And without spay or neuter, that number is only going to keep growing. Not only does spay neuter humanely reduce the community cat population, it keeps cats healthy. Scooter, the neuter cat, is on a mission to give cats an extra life by making it hip to be snipped. Hey, check them out. Go to GiveThem10.org. That's GiveThem10.org and help us make this a better world for cats.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com. Oh Behave is back with more tail-wagging ways to achieve harmony in the household with your pets. Now back to your fetching host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome back to the Oh Behave show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore, with Dr. Mikel Delgado. So let's just get right into it. We've focused a lot on cats and the weird behaviors they do and the foods we need to feed them. I'm sorry, we forgot the other element, play. Why is play so important to any feline at any age?
Yeah, it's a great question. And, I really, arrived on this topic from working with so many cat owners who were not playing with their cats. And, often when I'm helping a client, their cat is having behavior problems, and play is often part of my treatment plan. And that's because play is not only a feel-good behavior, right? It's like brings your cat exercise, it helps reduce stress, takes their mind off things that might be bothering them in their environment, but it also reflects what we would call a species typical behavior, right? So these are behaviors that we want to see our pets exhibit that are normal and healthy for them to express. And for cats, predation and play are very similar. There's a lot of overlap.
You just threw out a big word for some folks, and I know it'll never be on a Jeopardy question, but maybe. Tell us about the 2 Ps.
Yeah, so predation, hunting. So that's really so our cats are naturally predators, right? And that's something that has stayed true to them as a species throughout the process of domestication, right? So the cats of, ancient Egypt that people brought into their homes, the cats that we live with now, all still have this very strong instinct to hunt. Regardless of, if we keep them indoors, they may not get a lot of opportunities to hunt, except maybe if you've ever had a fly come into your house, you've really seen your cats, light up, right? They know, they're very aware that there's a little bug in your house and they would like to chase it around and hopefully catch it.
They are a furry fly swatter.
Yes. Yes. And so really play is about tapping into that hunting instinct in a way that doesn't hurt any birds. Your cat doesn't have to go outside, but and I'm not, here to like lecture people on whether or not they should let their cats outside, but it is, regardless of whether your cats go outside, it is an opportunity for them to engage in a fun behavior that helps maintain their health, helps you have a bond with them too, right? So it's not just about the cat, it's about the relationship you have with your cat. And hopefully for, some cats, it can actually reduce behavior problems because you're giving them, again, an outlet for this natural behavior that if they don't have an outlet for it, you might have a cat or kitten chasing your ankles, biting your hands. So we're really using it as a way to make our cats happier and healthier, but also, reduce some of those maybe annoying behaviors and, again, help you have a better bond with your cat.
There's been a number of cat books out there, and I've humbly written some, and you have too, and Jackson Galaxy and others. Do you think we're finally getting to cover the topic that's long overdue? Play. And so I wanted to ask, how is your book set up so people best understand? Because it sounds goofy, just wiggle a wand toy or toss a paper wad. No, guys, it's much more than that.
Yeah, really, I've been wanting to write a book about cats, but I did not necessarily want to write just another book on how to take care of your cat, right? There's lots of fantastic books, and those books are very important, but I did want to highlight this one topic, and obviously I have a lot to say about it. As I dove into it, I was like, this is, there's a lot here. And so my approach to the book was really to first look at the science, right? I'm a scientist, so I wanted to look at the research on both predatory behavior in cats and play behavior in cats. And luckily, there's like a nice wealth of research on this topic. Back in the 80s, a lot of people studied kittens and play. And unfortunately, that's really where the play research was focused, is on kittens. Any of us who has had an adult cat knows that cats play throughout their lifetime. They can. But a lot of people, if they don't play with their cat throughout their lifetime, maybe their cat becomes kind of a couch potato or, loses interest. And so I really wanted to encourage people to maintain that practice throughout their cat's entire life. So my approach to the book was kind of half scientific, like here's what the science says, here's what cats do when they hunt, here's what they do when they play. And the other half is more a practical how-to, right? Like how do you find out what toys your cat needs or likes?
Right.
How do you move the toy? Because I see a lot of people with some bad technique, right? They don't know, maybe they don't recognize what they're doing when they're playing with their cat, again, thinking you're allowing your cat to hunt the toy. So you want to move the toy like a bird or a mouse would move. You don't want to just wave it around, whipping it and, scaring your cat or anything like that. So a lot of the book is a how-to.
Give us a thing. It just turned into a fake bird.
Yes.
And I find myself in the living room with Casey, my cat.
Yes.
No bird is being harmed in the making of this comment. So what's the right bird move for me?
Yes. One thing I always recommend to people is like learn about animals. Like I like to watch videos of birds. I have a bird feeder. So birds do things like, they hop around, they peck at food, they might take off very suddenly and fly away, or maybe they would land on an elevated surface. So you can fly your bird toy over to the platform of a cat tree and then have it, fall. Maybe your bird is suddenly wounded and that's an exciting opportunity for your cat to kill them, right? So really thinking about incorporating things in the environment, like your cat furniture, your human furniture, cardboard boxes.
Oh, yeah. Chewy and Amazon, we've been doing a lot of ordering, right?
Exactly. So, also thinking about how you can utilize your environment to encourage your cat to use more of the space, get more exercise, climb things, jump down from things. And again, kind of tune into what would a bird do? What would a bird do if they were scared of the cat? They might try to hide or fly away, but you don't want to make it so hard that your cat can never catch the bird. So maybe we're a slightly less active bird at times, but Also depends on your cat, right? If you have an older cat, then you're probably going to have a weaker prey toy. You're going to make it easier for your cat to catch the toy. You might move the toy much slower. Your cat might be doing more watching and patting with their paws than doing backflips like a younger cat will do, right? So I think
Yes.
sometimes people just think play is your cat's running around the house and doing these amazing backflips. And no, for cats, even when they're hunting, so much of the time they're spending hunting is on watching and calculating like when's the right time to make the move. And that's when we see the staring, the butt wiggle.
I had an ex like that, but that's another conversation.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah, I really want people to, I guess part of it is pay attention to how your cat is responding to the toy and also being present, because I think in this day and age, so many of us have our phones nearby. We're playing with one hand, we're texting with the other. And with play, I really encourage people to take that, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever your cat needs, to really be present with your cat and be the bird and act like a bug. And hopefully you will see positive results because of that.
I like that. Hey, everyone. We're speaking with Dr. Mikel Delgado. She is a cat behaviorist. She's got a PhD after her name. And we're going to find out a little bit about her background. And for those on YouTube, you actually see some guitars. So we'll get into that. But we're going to take a break. So you all know the drill. We're just going to sit and purr and be right back.
Time for a walk on the red carpet, of course. All Behave will be back in a flash right after these messages.
Gifts for my pets, sparkle and love, under the tree, from heaven above. Gifts for my pets, joy in the air, unwrapping dreams without a care.
Elevate your cat's eating experience with the Cat Tree Tray. The Cat Tree Tray keeps your cat's food off the floor and is conveniently located on the cat tree. Go to cattreetray.com. Bring home a luxury French Bulldog from the world-famous Tom King's Kennel. Premium French Bulldogs from excellent European bloodlines. Superior puppy care and lifetime health guarantee for your perfect companion. Use code TomKingsMagic for a magical holiday discount. Visit TomKingsKennel.com and find your perfect Frenchie today. Your pets will be over the moon with sparkly jewelry from Over the Moon Jewelry. Beautiful handcrafted matching jewelry for you and your pets. Wire-wrapped, beaded contemporary necklaces, bracelets, and charms. Go to overthemoonjewelry.com.
Gifts for my pets, joy in the air, unwrapping dreams without a care.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets.
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
This is Charlie Batch, quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm with Arden Moore on Oh Behave on Pet Life Radio.
We're back from the lot. Just checked the paper and we had a record showing at the box. The letterbox, that is. Now back to Oh Behave. Here's Arden.
Welcome back to the O Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. We're getting catified with a great person who knows all things feline. She is Dr. Mikel Delgado, a PhD after her name. We are delving into her new book, and it is something you need to get your paws on. Play with your cat. This lady's a scientist, but she's got a pretty interesting background, and we got to dive in. Bring on your guitar. Tell us, because you've made some life changes. You thought, okay, I'm going to go to school and do this. Then you saw a guitar. Tell us what happened.
Yeah. So I was not the kind of person who knew what I wanted to do when I grew up. So I really was just kind of, taking things as they come.
Yeah.
I went to college and realized that I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I wanted to study. I was, early 20s. And what I really wanted to do was start a band. So I dropped out of college, moved to California, and started a band. I started a few bands. I was
Come
playing
on, give me a
music.
couple names.
Yeah. Well, they're punk bands that probably most of you have not heard of, but my first band was called the Cinnamon Imperials. And that was a band where I basically just walked up to some women I knew and said, do you want to start a band with me? And then we found a teenage boy drummer, and it was really fun. And I've recorded a few albums with some of my bands and toured, got to travel around the country and play in
Nice.
empty bars and people's backyards and
And your
living
bass,
rooms.
bass guitars,
Yes.
okay. Go.
Bass guitar is my main instrument. I like to dabble in other things, but basically there was probably a 13, 15-year period where music was kind of my passion. And then, the animal sheltering world opened itself up to me in 2000 when I started volunteering at an animal shelter.
Well, you went to a pretty prestigious animal shelter. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I was very lucky to be living in San Francisco, and the San Francisco SPCA, certainly at the time, was very unique in its approach to sheltering animals because it was a cage-free environment for adopters to meet cats and dogs. And they also had, very prestigious behavior programs. So Jean Donaldson was working there at the time, running the dog behavior program. And there happened to be a cat behavior program too. And so basically, as soon as I found out there was a cat behavior program at the shelter that volunteers could participate in, I was like, ooh, I want to do that.
So what is about the attraction to you with cats?
Yeah, it's interesting. I had a few family cats growing up, and I lived in a pretty rural area, so they went outdoors and didn't have long, healthy lives. That was kind of the thing back then, is the cats get hit by a car and you get a new one. But when I was a teenager, I begged and begged and begged my mother to let me adopt a cat, and we got a cat named Kittums, and he he moved with me to California. He and my other cat.
I thought it was going to be named Joan Jett. Really? I mean,
no,
okay.
yeah. I don't. Yeah, where did Kittums come from? Not sure. But then my next cat was named Jesus, which I found very humorous. It was, it was kind of a
amen.
I was being an obnoxious teenager, but yeah. So I mean, I've always liked cats, but I can't say that again. I wasn't the kind of person who was going to grow up to be a veterinarian, and it wasn't until I worked in or volunteered at the shelter that I even knew you could have a different job working with animals. And I was like, oh yeah, people here get paid to do this work. Okay, this is interesting. And I volunteered there a lot. And then when a job opened up, they offered it to me. I think they knew I was there all the time anyway, so they might as well hire me. And that was kind of the moment that I was like, I want to be a cat behaviorist. I want to understand this. I want to help cats. I want to help owners understand their cats. And I worked in the shelter for about 8 years, and then realized that I wanted to go back to school and get first I had to finish my bachelor's degree because I was a dropout. But I wanted to study behavior in a more formal way.
Well, you did. I mean, you have a doctorate degree. Is that from UC Davis?
UC Berkeley.
UC Berkeley. Yeah. And then you went and did a postdoctorate fellowship, right, at UC Davis. So listeners, she's got brains and she's got cat compassion. And you've written a book before with Jackson Galaxy, the guy from My Cat from Hell. Love the guy. And this one, your new book, Play with Your Cat. I'm so glad that you're talking about play with a purpose because it's really important. But one thing in your book, you said, affecting play, there's different factors. I was surprised. You said the gender of the cat and the body health type can influence. Can you explain those two?
Yeah. So when I was looking at all the possible things that could influence your cat's play behavior, of course, we always look to biological differences, right? So sex differences, personality differences, and the literature actually suggests that there's not a ton of differences based on sex. Both, and if you think about, okay, hunting and play have a lot of overlap in why cats do them, then it would make sense. Every cat needs to be able to hunt to survive, in theory. Of course, nowadays we chuck a bowl of food down for them, so they don't need those skills to the extent they would if they were out on the streets. But that instinct is there. So we will then see that all cats should play because all cats need to be able to hunt. That is in them. When I'm looking at things like body type, what I really want people to do is think about their cat as an individual. Is your cat physically fit? Are they a little bit on the chunky side, right? And so I have a whole section in the book about how to deal with cats with disabilities and cats who are overweight or older.
That's good, though. You're inclusive. Yes.
Yeah. And I want people to not just dismiss like, oh, my cat's fat, so he can't play. Like he's just not that into it, right? So you just have to kind of tailor the play to what he can do. So maybe that means he's doing more laying on the ground and rolling around with the toy than again doing backflips.
Yes. Get him going. Yeah.
A shy cat may need different things than an outgoing cat. So I do want people to just really understand their cat and how they can learn more about what that particular cat needs. There's no one size fits all. People really want like here's how you play with every cat in the world. And it's not that simple.
I'm glad. But you're blazing a new trail, if you would. It's kind of scary, I bet, to be getting into new research because there's not a lot out there. You're actually setting some basics and some standards, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. And the nice thing is that there is new research being done on cat play behavior. So I'll probably need to update the book in 10 years, but that's okay.
Oh, darn.
But, I think the nice thing about cats is that they've certainly, since I started working with cats in 2000, I think we've seen a lot of improvements for cats as far as people's interest in taking good care of them. Certainly, interest on the internet has escalated. We know, of course, that has downsides in addition to the benefits. It's just that sometimes we see people doing things that go viral that maybe are not the best for the cat's welfare, right? So, but on the other hand, we do see a lot of people who have, adopted a cat, really want to take good care of them. They don't hold back in spoiling their cats and giving them what they need. And that's certainly the audience that I'm hoping to tap into. But really, I think everybody will hopefully learn something from this book.
Well, what about your cats? You have 3, Coriander, Ruby, Professor Scribbles.
Yes.
Don't know what you call them as a nickname.
Yeah. So I have 3 cats. They're sisters. So they're all females and they're all tortie tabbies. So I went for the tortitude factor. But really, I tell so many of my clients to, if they want to get a kitten, to adopt at least 2 kittens, right? So they can play with each other and grow up together. And knowing that, naturally occurring cat groups like feral colonies tend to be matrilineal. They tend to be comprised of related females. I was interested in adopting, a litter or, members of a litter. So when we lost our last cat during the beginning of the pandemic, that was my cat Clarabelle, and she had large cell lymphoma, and she was a fantastic cat. She was like definitely my heart cat But after she passed away, we decided this was an opportunity to just get 3 cats at once.
Why not
go through, one of the main reasons that I'm called for cat behavior help is cat introductions gone wrong, where, people have a resident cat, they introduce another cat, and now they're fighting. So I was like, I think I'm just going to skip the introduction and just adopt litter mates. And then they already know each other. And so that's what we did. Go. Yeah.
They had a womb with a view when they were. Yeah. So what's their favorite play style? What's a game you play with them?
Yeah, it's a great question. They're all, so, as cats are, they're all individuals. They definitely like, well, Coriander is very food motivated. So she likes.
Oh, she's got a kind of a kitchen name. Go ahead.
Yes. She likes anything that involves training and working for food. So she uses food puzzles. But with play, they love, it's going to sound weird because, again, it's food, but they love green beans.
Oh, I've heard that. Yeah, some cats dig it.
They really, and I tie a green bean to a string and I attach it to a wand and I drag it around. They love that.
I hope some visitors come over and they see a green bean on a string in your living room. Oh, is that what we're having for dinner, Dr. Delgado?
I have gone to the grocery store and bought 3 green beans, and the clerk is like, "What's going on here?" I'm like, "They're for my cats."
Okay, good. You're funny.
Yeah.
All right.
But no, they like a lot of feather wands. They really like the Ripple rug, which is this really cool toy. It's like a prop for play where it's got a rug that's a base, and then it has a rug that velcros onto the top that has holes in it, so you can kind of make caves and tunnels. They love that, and they like anything with the stick end of the toy, like poking through a hole or underneath a piece of fabric or tissue paper. They love tissue paper. But they're pretty run-of-the-mill, they like feather wands. They like anything kind of small and bug-like on the end of a stick and a string is good for them, but they do get bored of the same toy pretty quickly. So I do a lot of homemade toys to keep them interested. That's kind of how the green bean came into being. It was like, okay, when it's fresh, it's nice and juicy, and then it kind of gets dry and weird and hard, and they like that too. And then we compost it and get a new green bean, and they seem to be satisfied with that.
Hey, everyone, we're speaking with Dr. Mikel Delgado. You got to get your paws on her book. It's called Play with Your Cat. We also need to have people know how to follow you, because I do know you co-founded Feline Minds. So how do we track you down?
Yeah, unfortunately, I have like too many websites, but felineminds.com is my cat consulting business. So that's where people should go if they want to hire me for a behavior consultation.
Okay.
And they can learn more about that service there. I also have a blog called whatyourcatwants.com, and that's me really translating science for a lay audience. So just trying to bring the studies about cats to your everyday cat person in a way they can understand what the science found, what it means, how should we think about it. And I also co-run a website called foodpuzzlesforcats.com.
Love that. Yeah.
Yeah, then I run that with Ingrid Johnson, who's a cat behavior consultant from Georgia. And the goal of that website is to encourage people to use food puzzles with their cats. So not quite play, but definitely part of the predatory or hunting behavior, right? Is that working for food? So yeah, and I'm on social media. People Google me, they'll find me. I'm mostly on Instagram and Twitter, or X. So yeah, I'm around.
Okay. Hey, I'm so happy we finally got to have you on the show.
Me
We
too.
need to meet in person someday.
Yeah.
But thank you for telling us about your book, and thank you for being a trailblazer for fine felines everywhere. I'm a better human because of the kitties in my house, including pet safety cat Casey. I also, at this time, everyone, want to give a shout out to my producer, Mark Winter. He is the executive producer of all the shows on Pet Life Radio. By the way, Pet Life Radio is the longest running pet podcast network on the planet. We haven't got to the moon yet. And this show is the longest running pet podcast, weekly podcast. We've been on the air since 2007. I was in diapers. And Feed Spot, I think that's right, Mark. That's the one that voted Oh Behave as the #1 pet podcast going into 2024. Is that correct? And we did not get a free car, but we're happy with the honors. So we love having guests like Dr. Delgado on. Check me out on Four Legged Life, my YouTube channel, Arden Moore. And until next time, this is your flea-free host, Arden Moore, delivering just 2 words to all you 2, 3, and 4-leggers out there. Oh, behave.
Coast to coast and around the world, it's Oh Behave with Arden Moore. Find out why cats and dogs do the things they do and get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get great tail-wagging pet tips and have a fur-flying fun time. All Behave with America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore. Every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.